been asked to make a guitar tutorial for Dead Submarines by Jacob Slater from Wunderhorse. So it's played on an acoustic guitar, which is amplified with lots of reverb added to give that lovely rich sound. And the first thing you've got to know to play this is tune the E string down to a D and tune the B string down to an A. Then you need to put the capo on the 2nd fret. So your open strings then are the introduction starts with the 1st finger on the 1st fret of the G string, the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the E string. And the introduction goes like this. So there I'm playing the E string, the D string and the G string, and then I'm playing the B and the E string at the same time with my first 2 fingers. And then back to the G string and the D string. So again that's twice. You then take your finger off the E string to play the open string as the bass note and play this. So it's the same picking pattern. You then put your little finger on the 4th fret of the E string and play the same pattern. Play that once, and then you play with the A string, the open A string as the bass note, and play that once. And then go back to having your finger on the 2nd fret of the E string for the bass note. And then for the verse is made up of 4 chords that repeat. So it starts with the same chord as the introduction. So this. You then move to playing an A shape. So 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the B string, and you play this. So a similar picking pattern to the introduction. And then you go, so there, that's open A string, then the D string, back to the A string, and then you pluck the top 2 strings. And then you move up to play a bar chord on the 4th fret, and you've got your 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the D string. You've got your 3rd finger on the 6th fret of the G string. You've got your little finger on the 7th fret of the B string. And then you're playing the 4th fret as part of that bar chord on the E string. And the picking is this. So it's the same as when you're playing the A chord. So again, slowly. And then you move down, you have your 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the D string, little finger on the 5th fret of the G string, and you play this. So that's A, D, G, open E, G, D. You play that once, and the 2nd time you play it, you play this. So you've got your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and you let those 2 top strings ring out like this. And you play those 4 chords through twice. So playing it together. chorus is also built around 4 chords. The first one is this. So there, that's the second finger on the 5th fret of the E string, the little finger on the 5th fret of the D string, the first finger on the 4th fret of the G string, and the open B string. And the picking pattern is this: E, D, G, and you play the B and the D strings together, then G, D, and so like this. And the second time you play it, you play E, D, E, and then again. So putting those two together, it's and the second chord of the chorus is this. That's an open E string, second finger on the 5th fret of the A string, first finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, third finger on the 5th fret of the G string, and little finger on the 5th fret of the B string. So it's, and again those top 2 strings ringing out together. So you play it like that. And the second time you play it, you change the bass notes slightly, so it's, so that's E, A, E, and then the 3rd fret of the chorus is this. So that's the second finger on the 7th fret of the E, third finger on the 7th fret of the A, little finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and the first finger on the 5th fret of the G string, and the B string is open. So you play this. Again, those 2 top strings ringing out together. So you play it through once like that, and then change the bass notes again. And then slide down. The last of those 4 chords in the chorus is second finger on the 2nd fret of the E string, third finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, first finger on the 1st fret of the G string, and little finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. So you play this. And again, those top 2 notes ringing out open, so top E and 2nd fret on the B. So you play those 4 chords through twice, so like this. Through twice, and then after the second time you move up from that chord to this chord. So that's a bar chord on the 2nd fret, then you've got your second finger on the 4th fret of the E string, third finger on the 4th fret of the D string, you're playing the 2nd fret of the G string with the bar, you're playing the 4th fret of the B string with your little finger, and you're playing the 2nd fret of the E string with your bar. So you're like this. And then you move up to this chord, which is the final chord of the chorus. So that's second finger on the 7th fret of the E, third finger on the 7th fret of the A, little finger on the 7th fret of the D, and first finger on the 6th fret of the G string. So you just play this. And then the second time around, G and the B string ring out. So do that again. And then you go back to the introduction. So you play that whole cycle through twice. The introduction, the 4 chords of the verse played through twice, then the 4 chords of the chorus played through twice, then this chord and this chord. So you play that whole thing through twice, and then you start the 3rd time. So you play the introduction, then you play this. And then it finishes with this chord. So that's the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, the 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the G string, little finger on the 5th fret of the B string, and your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the E string. And you just play through those notes. And that's the whole song. Thank you for watching.